This exercise is about promise chaining, and we will go through two code snippets and we will try to predict the output of them. And I will try my best to explain you why these outputs are getting printed. So let's look at this example. Pause here for a minute and try to predict the output of it. And then we will go through this example together. Okay, so let's see what this function is trying to do. So this function is returning a promise, and the response of this function is not synchronous. So that's why it is an asynchronous function. Let's revise the concept first. Whenever you write a function and you cannot return the response right away, it becomes an asynchronous function because you would return a promise most likely in that case. So here, this function would return a promise, and that promise would be resolved or rejected asynchronously. So here we are resolving this promise with a value of 1. So here the value is 1 and this is a resolved promise. Now here on that get promise, we are invoking then. So if the promise is resolved, it would go inside then. If the promise is rejected, it would go inside catch. So here this promise is a resolved promise. So it would go inside this then. And from this then, you can return another promise. If you do not return anything, it would return a resolved promise with a value of undefined. So here we are returning a resolved promise with a value of 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. So this would return a resolved promise with a value of 3. Now here, since it's a resolved promise, it would come inside then, and from this then it would print 3. Now console.log just prints the data on the console. It does not return anything. So from here, we would return undefined. So this step would return a resolved promise with a value of undefined. So when you come here, it would print undefined. And again, console.log does not return anything. So this line would return another resolved promise with a value of undefined. So here at the last line, it would print undefined. So the output would be 3, undefined, undefined. Now let's look at this example now. Pause here and try to predict the output of it, and then we will go through this example together. Okay, so let's understand what this code is doing. So here, I am rejecting the promise with a value of 1. So this is a rejected promise. And all the rejected promises goes inside the catch. So here, I am calling get promise, and then I'm invoking then. So as soon as it encounters the first catch, this get promise would go inside this catch because it is a rejected promise and it wouldn't go through all these then. So here we would print value 4 and then 1, value 4 and 1, and this would return a resolved promise with a value of undefined because console.log does not return anything. So here it would go inside this then, and this then returns an error with a value of 1. Now, even though we are returning an error with a value of 1, it is still a resolved promise because we are not rejecting the promise. So here it would go inside this value 5, and it would print value 5, and then since we are returning error with a value of 1, it would print error 1. Now this console.log would return another resolved promise. And another resolved promise would go inside this then, because the promise is not rejected, so it wouldn't go inside these two catch. It would directly go inside this then, and it would print value 8 and then undefined, because we are not returning anything. So I hope you would get some understanding of promises chaining with the help of these two examples. And if you have not watched my video on promises, I would recommend you go through it and try to understand more about them.